Shalom and good morning, everyone. Um, Coming up here to give you some news event that has happened. This is dealing with the instructions of what the Messiah commanded us to do. And one of the instructions one of the instructions is we are to watch and pray. And this is going to hit on you must have understanding of the King James 1611 and the other sacred books that our Father lead us to. Okay. And what I mean by that, you're going to find that many believers in the Messiah do not understand biblical prophecies, or many believers are not aware of other biblical prophecies. And the reasons for this, y'all, first you got to know what kingdom you're in. Okay, so let's start from the beginning. We are in the fourth beast kingdom as prophesied by Daniel, and the fourth beast is Rome. And there are proofs and there are physical evidence in the earth that will show you we are in the Roman Empire. Just as the World Council of Churches has this slogan or this symbol that they use to represent themselves, they use this Greek word called okaneme. Now, when you look up this Greek word okaneme, you will see that it can either mean world or Roman Empire. Another sign that you can look at is that, especially here in America as well as throughout the world, who is the one that all leaders, whether they are pastors, presidents, kings, or whatever leadership position they hold for their country, okay, or for their assemblies, who is the one they go pay tribute to or respects or their honors to? This is a simple question, easy question, okay? And that would too let you know we are in the Roman Empire, okay? But just think about it. I want you to think, who is that one? And in the video, in the comment section of the video, I want you to type that answer. Who is that one that many ghosts repay their respects to? Whatever he says, okay? The whole world accepts it. Just about, okay, well, let me correct myself. Just about the whole world accepted. He is even the one who has changed the Most High 10 Commandments. I ought to give you a clue about that. He is even the one who have overwritten certain things in the Holy Scriptures. And that'll let you know what empire you are in. Okay, because the Most High prophets gives the truth. They are his mouthpiece. But many don't understand prophecies because unfortunately they're in the fourth beast church, meaning that many of the fourth beast doctrine has still been spreading through other assemblies, whether they are associated with them or not, whether they feel they follow them or not. You will still see many of the fourth beast doctrines among them. And how to find that out? All you have to do is read the 1611. Not just the New Testament, y'all, the whole volume, because like I had shared with y'all before, there are many biblical prophecies from Genesis to the Apocrypha to the New Testament that has not come to their fullness. And unfortunately, the fourth beast church has not been teaching you anything. They have been dumbing you down. Okay? And it has been written by our Father. Well, it has been written by those chosen by our Father to tell you this. Who is your teacher now? Many think they have to go to universities or to schools or to pastors. But again, who is your teacher now? Who is the one that will lead and guide and teach you in all things? Because if you understand what took place in Genesis with our foreparents, Adam, Eve, then you'll understand who is that one that should teach you now. Because you're not going to get it from these assemblies who are carrying the fourth beast's doctrines. You're not going to get it from even from assemblies who's coming from the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Herodians' doctrines. In other words, you're going to have to allow that Holy One to teach you, to lead and guide you through those scriptures, as well as other sacred books. Okay? So what you see before you is a temple. And the Father is reminding me, I need to give you the date, because again, this world do not follow his calendar. That's another sign unto you. They are following behind the heathens and the heathens' ways. It is all pagan. It is all dealing with idolatry. And because many do not read the book for themselves, they will continue to follow the heathen ways. And one of the greatest examples is the calendar. So the calendar that the world follows today is the Gregorian calendar, it's the Roman calendar, and that's what Daniel was talking about in his prophecies. Because if you go in the beginning of the book and throughout the book, we didn't keep that. We kept our father calendar, which was made up of what? The sun, the moon, and Mazzaroth. And Mazzaroth is a Hebrew word for the 12 signs that the Gentiles today call the zodiac. But many are not taught that. So the date, let me start with the year, because again, we don't even know the year according to our father's time. So for creation year, we are in the 13th day. For the Adamic year, or we would say the year from Adam, we are in the 8th day. And if I say, how does she know this? Because the prophets give you the answer. That's what the Spirit been teaching me. He said, if you want to know something, you have a question about something, go to my prophets, for they are the mouthpiece. So for creation, we're in the 13th day, for those who's been watching. And from the Adamic day, we are in the 8th day. Okay? Oh yeah, the scriptures give it to you, but only the Spirit of Yah can reveal it. Okay? Now, as far as the month, we're in the second month of the Most High calendar called Z. Okay? And as far as the day of that month, we are now in the 13th day, and the phase of this day, we are in daylight now. Okay? So we're in the 13th day of the second month. Now, as far as the date of the sun, this is very important. You have to have the date of the sun. Remember, the count is made of what? 3 lights. You can't ignore the other 2 lights and one with 1 light. Your calendar has to be made up of 3 lights. So the date of the sun fall on the sun's second month and 24th day. Okay? The second month and the 24th day. All right. Now, as far as the heathen day, because you know the heathens don't follow the ways of the Most High, because they begin their day from midnight, okay, to midnight. They follow what? Darkness, because that's what heathens do. They are the children of darkness. They follow Satan's ways. And they do not follow the truth, they follow lies. Okay? They go against the word of the Most High. They are opposite of him. So the heathen day is, they call their month, this month they call it May. Their year is 2022 AD. And their date is from May 13th to May 14th. Remember, our Father Day falls in to 2 of their days, because we begin our day from what? Sundown to sundown. Again, the Bible will confirm this. The Book of Jubilees and the works of Josephus will confirm this. And a lot of people don't understand the Most High ways, because it's not what they teach you in school. And a while back with y'all's family, we learned something. We learned another interesting fact about daylight. How 2/3 of daylight is given to day, and 1/3 of it is given to evening. Another, interesting fact or truth that the Father has given unto us. So as you see, his ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts. So let us get into this. So here's a picture of, just giving you an idea about the second temple that was built in the time of the Israelites, okay, when they came I'm sorry, in the time of the Israelites. So what happened this morning, y'all? I was checking my news feed, and this was a very interesting information. Okay, and this comes from Nicholas the Watchman. Anybody saying, what is Sister used to talk about? So his video is dated May the 7th in the year of 2022, and he's announcing about the construction of the third temple. Now, those who are watching, this is very important because if you understand biblical prophecy, then you understand why this is important to know. But it's not what you think, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, many going to run to Daniel's 70 weeks, but it's not dealing with Daniel's 70 weeks. Again, you have to read what? The whole book of Daniel, the Apocrypha, especially with the Maccabees, okay? And the New Testament and the work of Josephus to understand the 70 weeks. So you would not get that confused what is happening now. Now, Daniel talks about this, but it's not in Daniel chapter 9. Okay. And if I have time, we're going to go to that chapter because he does talks about this. And this is why it's so important that we be aware of this. Okay. Um, So this comes from Nicholas Watchman. And what I like about Nicholas, I'm so grateful that he posts the article link. It's very important because we're going to find that what happens sometimes, people will delete stuff or take away stuff. And when you do a video, and if you don't capture that whole article, you just don't have the proof, right? So I'm glad that he lists that article link, and we're going to take a look at that article. Okay. So let's go there first. So they gave you the heathen day. Their day is what they call Saturday. That's a heathen day term. And that day is May the 14th in the year of 2022. But I gave you my Father's Day, how it falls on May 13th to May 14th from sundown to sundown. Very important to know. And the fathers reminded me the reason why it's very important to understand his calendar. The biblical prophecies that you study in the Bible, as well as other sacred books, you cannot use the Gregorian calendar for that. You cannot. You have to use our Father calendar to understand those biblical prophecies. All right. Now, this comes from Israel 365 News. All right. The title of the article is Jews Begin Building Third Temple on Israel Independence Day. It is done by Adam Eliyahu. I'm not going to say that last name. Okay. And the date of his article is May the 6th in the year of 2022. And it's coming from Jerusalem, modern day Jerusalem. Another term you could say the Jerusalem of the Amalekites, because there's two Jerusalem when you do your biblical studies, and you will learn that that was the first Jerusalem that the Israelites came into when the Father had them to cross the Jordan River. This is very important to know. So you can't put that Old Testament away, y'all. You got to keep going back to that foundation. Okay. So we see a quote here. They say here, go and say to my servant David, thus says Hashem, that means the name, are you the one to build a house for me to dwell in? Samuel chapter 7, verse 5. That comes from the Israel Bible. So basically what this article is telling us, they are making preparation to build the third temple. This is very important for you to be aware of this information. I want you to check the video description box for this article so you can read it for yourself, because unfortunately I cannot read this whole article unto you because I want to keep the video short and straight to the point. Now, what the article revealed is this, that one of the things they are doing to prep to build what they say is the third temple is that they are prepping these stones, like they are shaping these stones up that would be used to build the third temple. Okay, so let me scroll down because it was one paragraph that it was a couple paragraphs that was very interesting to me. One of the things that you do want to read for yourself, you want to read Ezekiel chapter 36. That is a future prophecy. Okay, then you can understand why they are using that in this particular article. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let me get down to this part here. So as you see here, there's a picture of the different stones they are preparing to be used to build the third temple. Okay. And I'm just trying to see which paragraph I wanted to point out. This is one right here. This is one of the paragraphs. So when you read this article, I want you to take your time, go line upon line, because you're going to see how it lines up to the biblical prophecies from the beginning of the book to the end of the book. So what I'm saying to you, don't just run with Daniel prophecies. Come in the whole volume of the book of the 1611 Bible, as well as the other sacred books. It says in this paragraph that all of the Vibayas we consulted agreed that we should begin preparing the stones. Lippo said this wasn't just a physical action to produce dressed stones. We had to be very careful about our intentions. Of course, of course, this was not a political statement. The intention was to unify. Let me try to go down. There we go. The intention was to hold on, y'all. My mouse don't want to act right. Okay. Let me start right here. Let me start go over. Of course, this was not a political statement. The intention was to unify the Jews and all of the world in making God one and his name one. This is what you really want to highlight because we have seen this done before in the past. Who is that one who also tried to unify all the nations? That's one I'm thinking about in particular. And the Apocrypha talks about him and Alexander the Great. But it didn't work in his time. So when you look at this prophecy here, and for those who read the book of Revelation, this is something to really pay attention because they are looking to what? To unify the Jews and all the world in making God one and his name. Now, those who are not familiar with biblical prophecy would say, but what's wrong with that? Again, you got to know prophecy. And this is to prepare you for what is coming. But let us keep going. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Let us keep going down. It's another interesting paragraph to read. Okay, this picture here, as I'm scrolling down, is showing you a picture of how they still preparing more stones to have the third temple built. And this is another paragraph here that's very interesting that I want you to highlight in your notes. Because as Messiah said, we should what? Watch and pray. Let me try this again. Yeah, there we go. It says, this was an important act unto itself and a message to the nations, to the nation, as well as to the world. But it was also message to Hashem that we were not just sitting around waiting for the Messiah. Wonder told Israel 365 News. We have the intention to show that we are actively working to bring the third temple as prophesied and as commanded. Again, when you know biblical prophecy, you understand why they're doing this. Okay? Okay. Oh, and here's one of the interesting paragraph here. So one of the issues you're going to see that they're going to have problems with trying to build their third temple for those who've been watching that land over there, like the land of Israel. And it's given in this paragraph. Okay. And I want to read this part here. It said the current situation, which Israel is a beautifully developed country, while the Temple Mount is under the control of the Palestinians, is familiar to the situation described by the prophet Haggai. So they quote from Haggai chapter 1, verse 4, and it says this. I'm trying to get my highlight where that bar won't be over that word. Here we go. It says this. It is time for you to dwell in your panel houses while this house is laying in ruins. So when you go back and study not only Haggai, but as well as other prophets, what this verse is saying to you that they're living in well big homes, but the Father's tabernacle or the Father's house or his temple lay in ruins. You know, that it looks bad, don't make sense. Kind of like the old saying that we have here in America that it don't make sense for somebody to live in a shack and they have a BMW. See what I'm saying? So if the Most High is their God, you know, he's the El, he's above all gods, okay? He's above all lords, you know. Why is it his house or his temple or his tabernacle look or lay, why does his house, temple, or tabernacle lay in ruins or not built well or look good while you stay in beautiful homes? Okay? So that's the verse they're using. But what I'm pointing out here that they can't do anything or they can't bring forth their third temple because the Palestinians control Temple Mount. Now you might say, well, why is that important to look at? It goes deeper, y'all. Again, we about to tap in some deep things here. And to the family of Yar, we were already on this topic. Ain't it funny how things are beginning to happen? And what I think is that nothing happened by coincidence. And what I mean by that, I was discussing with Yah's family about some things dealing with the biblical prophecies and dealing with the house of Yah. And to understand what is the house of Yah or what is his tabernacle. And I know the verses may say temple or no temple, but what is our Father's dwelling place? That's what I'm really getting at. To understand that, you're going to have to go to his prophets. Okay? Remember Torah and the prophets will give you understanding about the past, the present, and what is yet to come. Okay, that's where you're going to find the answer at. So I'm going to give you this prophet, Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48. Read along with the book of Revelation. Trying to see if another prophet that will give you more understanding about our Father's dwelling place. But those are the two main books. There's many other scriptures, but what I'm saying is those are the two main books that written by prophets that will give you understanding about our Father's house, his tabernacle, the temple versus no temple. Because the scriptures do talk about that. I know it may confuse some, but you got to read the whole book to understand why it's saying no temple. Okay? All right. Now, let me see if there's anything else here. Okay, that's it. So, looking at the Palestinians, for those who understand the history, I'm trying to see where I want to go at next. Oh, I know. I didn't share my copyright thing. Let me go ahead and share that. Bear with me for a second because I am sharing some copyright materials with you. I guess the internet want to be a little slow with me. Here we go. So the title of this video, y'all, I used to do it at the beginning, but hey, it is what it is. The title of this video is Third Temple, Biblical Prophecy, and you see I got a question mark. Okay, so now that we have that out the way, this is where I want to go to next. Because you got to understand, what is Temple Mount? Why is that so important to understand? I want to pause this. There we go. And as I'm giving that some time to come up, to understand Temple Mount, you have to know. I got to find that part where it showed at. Is it this part? Let's see here. There we go. This part. So I let that come up for a little bit. Why is Temple Mount so important? One of the books that talks about the area of Temple Mount is the book of Revelation. But to understand Revelation, you have to understand all the other books written. Okay. Now there's a video on the channel that's titled as Israelites and Gentiles. They come in pairs. Egypt, Assyria, and Israel. Covenant and two Jerusalems. Now this video is quite old, but what I want you to look at is the articles. Now, I just checked some of the articles I listed, and some of them, when you go to certain sites, some things have been deleted. But good news, one of the articles that's going to give you more understanding about Temple Mount and what this all means is dealing with the articles that's done by the Haaretz.com. That is another, Jewish news site. So when you click on that, it's going to reveal what they found in the Temple Mount area, as well as in the other part of modern day Jerusalem. Okay. And what this does, it ties into an ancient Roman city that was built upon the land of Israel. And the title of this article is Archaeologists Bringing Jerusalem Ancient Roman City Back to Life. Excavation of the Roman city Aelia Capitolina, built on the ruins of the Second Temple period, Jerusalem. Sorry about that, y'all. You know how the internet does when it's trying to load up a page. Have unearthed a few surprises. This article right here is very important for you to know to understand the book of Revelation as well as the other books. Because when you read the book of Revelation, it's going to reveal those who say they are Jews. It's going to reveal unto you those who call themselves Jews. The Bible labeled them as the synagogue of Satan. And you probably saying, what did that mean? When you come in the whole Bible book, as well as the other books, especially Josephus give you the inner details about why the Bible would call those Jews the synagogue of Satan. Okay? And it called them that because they don't follow Torah, y'all. They never have followed Torah. When you get in the history and the details, they did not follow the instruction of the Most High Yah. They followed the heathen ways. And what they learned from heathen, because this go back in Egypt, y'all. This go back in Egypt. Okay? They held on to the heathen ways, or what they learned from the heathen. which formulated into what they call the oral law, which soon was what's the word I'm looking for? Which soon led to the creation of the Talmud. So when you get to the New Testament, you will learn why the Messiah would say unto them, "You are keeping the customs and the traditions of your forefathers." The Messiah was not talking about Torah. He was talking about the Talmud, the oral law. This is why it's so important for you to go back to the foundation and to master the foundation as well as the other sacred books to understand what Yahusha HaMashiach is saying to you, who is the second Adam, the Son of God, the Son of Yah, the Messiah, the anointed one, the door of the sheep, the left, the fountain of the living waters, the iron, and the light slash eye of the body. You have to master all of the books to understand the New Testament. And then you're going to understand why this article is so important for those who are watching and praying. Okay? Pastor said, well, what this got to do anything? I will show you why. But let me scroll through the article, because you know how it is. When they get wind that we are aligning these things with the word of the Most High, they quickly want to hide the truth. So I'm going to go down this article and go real slow. So that way, if you're not able to print it out, you will have it here. So I will read this paragraph here. It says, like the rest of the old city streets, these straight roads are narrow, but unlike the others, they preserve a historical skeleton of sorts that form the basis of the old city we know today. So they're talking about the modern day Jerusalem. This skeleton was created. Most archaeologists agreed not during Jewish, Christian, or Muslim rule, but during the Roman period. This is very important. Remember, I told y'all we're in the fourth beast kingdom. But during the Roman period, when the city of Aelia Capitolina was built on the ruins of Jerusalem following the destruction of the Second Temple in 70 AD. So as you see in your list, you got to pay attention to what? Archaeology now. Because a lot of things the Father is revealing unto us to help us understand about these biblical prophecies and what his living word is saying unto us. So I'm going to just take my time to scroll through here. So basically what you see today over in Jerusalem, they have built upon this ancient Roman city known as Aelia Capitolina. Okay? That's what this article is telling you, and it's very important to understand this. Okay? Okay, that's it on that one. So this link will be in the video description box. But when you have time, now this is an old video, meaning that at the time this video was done, it's based on that information that I have on hand. But keep in mind, the Father will keep revealing more and more. But this video will give you a basic understanding of what this all means and where this leading to, and how it will show what has came to pass and what has not. Okay? All right. So title of that video is Israelites and Gentiles. They come in pairs. Part 2. Egypt, Assyria, and Israel covenant and the two Jerusalem. There are two Jerusalems. Go back to that foundation. Okay? And my Wycliffe Bible Dictionary revealed that the Jerusalem Israelite worship a God called, if I can pronounce it correctly, is Shalum, Shalem. It is the God of prosperity. And it revealed in that dictionary that all three major religions has some period of time ruled that area. You had Judaism. Now, it's not what you think when I say Judaism. Judaism is dealing with the Talmud, the synagogue of Satan. Then the second one was the Christianity. And the third one was the Muslim. You will see the history of all three major religions being in that area of the Jerusalem of the Amorites. And you probably saying, huh? Well, I thought the Jerusalem or the father city or the city of Shalem, Salem, or the city of peace, was in the Jerusalem of the Jebusite. It was, but it's a twist there, y'all. This is why I'm telling y'all, you're going to have to go back and do your study, do your research. But you will learn there's two Jerusalem. So you're going to have to seek the Father for his understanding what is going on here, what is happening. Because the Messiah and the prophets had prophesied unto you that the Jerusalem of the Jebusite would be in desolation, would be in ruins. Mysteries, right? Okay. So the next part we're gonna go to is Revelation 11. This is why it's so important that the Temple Mount that the Jewish is fighting for today to build their third temple is under control by the Muslim that they say under the control of the Palestinians, because you know some of the people in that land are following Islam. Okay, so that's where their temple is. Okay, it's on Temple Mount. So unfortunately, the Jewish don't have control of that right now. All right, but they're trying to find a way how to get it. But when you look at what the archaeology has found out, on the Temple Mount, you can find the ancient ruins of Aelia Capitolina. And under that temple is the temple of Jupiter. Yes, the temple of Jupiter. I want to give you this nugget. Away from that area where the Messiah was crucified, they call it the Holy Sepulchre. I think it's the Holy Sepulchre Church or something like that. Under that church, the ruin or the temple of Aphrodite or the temple of Venus can be found. You have to understand why all of this is important, because it's going to line up with Revelation 11. Now, I want you to read the whole chapter. I want you to go to the 6 and 11 because it gives you the chapter summary and the side notes so you can understand what this chapter is saying unto you. For the chapter summary of Revelation 11 says this. It says the two witnesses prophesied. So when you study the living word, there was two people that did not see death. Because remember, the Bible said man can only die once. There was two people or two prophets that did not see death. So their divine purpose is to come back and to prophesy, to come against the fourth beast. Okay, this is going to take place before the Messiah comes with the hosts of heaven and the 144,000 to take down the fourth beast kingdom. So the two witnesses must come first before the Messiah can conquer the fourth beast. All right, I'm giving y'all a nugget here. So the two prophets that have not seen death are Enoch and Elijah. So they are come to preach and to come against the fourth beast kingdom. So again, the Father is sending two prophets to be a witness unto the people who had what's the word, survived, okay, who has survived with the judgments and the plagues that had come upon the earth. So he's sending two witnesses to preach unto them so they too can repent and make it right with our Father. And then their other role is to come against the fourth beast, because as you see, they're going to try to attack the two witnesses, but they're not going to be able to prevail over against them until that time to come for their death to take place. Okay, so the two witnesses prophesy. They have power to shut heaven that it rain not. So you understand the calendar and the agriculture, you're going to understand why the rain is so important, because without rain, they cannot eat and they will suffer. The beast shall fight against them and kill them. Who is the beast? Again, it's dealing with the Roman Empire. It's dealing with the prophecies when you understand what takes place between Esau and Jacob. Remember what the prophet Hosea said about Jacob. Remember what the prophet Ezra says about Esau and Jacob. And when you do your study, you're going to learn that the founder of the Roman Empire is my uncle Esau, Edom. Yes. This is why in Revelation 12 that the dragon is red. Go back to the foundation. Who is that one that's mentioned in the Bible to be red or to have red hair? Edom. Do you see how you got to go back to the foundation to understand all these things? But let us keep going. All right, because you got to know what kingdom you're in. All right, so the beast shall fight against the two witnesses and shall kill them. They lie unburied, and after 3 days and a half rise again. So on the fourth day, they're going to rise. Okay, the second woe is past, the seventh trump sound. So the verse we're going to look at to understand why is it so important to understand what is Temple Mount or what is underneath Temple Mount and how does it relate to the future prophecy and how and what does it mean or what these Jewish are about to do, because we understand when they say we are to what to unify all Jews and the world under one God and under one name, then you're going to understand what this is going to bring forth. And it's not what you think. For those who understand the biblical prophet, we already know that that does not mean it's going to bring forth Yahusha HaMashiach with the hosts of heaven, the 144,000. Because when you understand about the temple, about our Father's house or his dwelling place, you know it's not built by man's hands. When you understand the 70 weeks, how that it will remain in desolation until the Father bring the new Jerusalem. I'm giving y'all nuggets here. I hope y'all writing this down. Then you understand what you see these Jews do is not what you've been taught by the first free church. Okay? Well, let me correct myself. What you see these Jews do is not what you think. Okay? It's not what you think. Now, it isn't in biblical prophecy. I'm going to give that to you after we go to this verse. So let us go down here. Here it go. We're going to start in verse 7. So this is talking about the two witnesses. When the two witnesses have finished their testimony. So we understand what testimony is. It means to be a witness. Okay? I don't want to say sign, but to give you physical proof that this is true, or to testify against them on that day of judgment. In other words, the Father always sent a prophet or a prophetess to warn you. Again, they are his mouthpiece. They speak, okay, for him. In other words, he tells them what to say. They don't speak on their own free will. They don't speak on their own agenda. Okay? So this is why it said testimony. They will testify. They will give you the truth. And if you reject it, then judgment will come upon you. And when the Father gives you a judgment and you try to say, "Oh, that's not so," he's going to show you your life and give you the proof and show you the witnesses that's going to testify against you. I hope I said that kind of clear. So the two witnesses shall finish their testimony. Their testimony is 3.5 years. Okay. The beast that ascend out the bottomless pit shall make war against them. So the Roman Empire gonna come against them. That's that fourth beast that Daniel talks about. That includes the Greek Empire. This is why you see a lot of Greek terms being used. That's what the 10 brass nails represent. It represents the Greek Empire. And we know now what has taken in place of the Greek Empire, the UN. Okay? But this is, I'm giving you this so you can understand why you're still seeing Greek customs and ways and words. Okay? So this beast is going to make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. Now here's the verse I really want you to pay attention to. Right here. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. That is true. So it's telling you where he was crucified. We know in, sorry, the G word, y'all, and I don't want to mispronounce it. And that area is outside of the judgment hall of Pontius Pilate. Okay. So this is telling you where the two witnesses is going to be. It's going to be in modern day Jerusalem. Okay. But notice here it says it's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. You got to understand what that means. Well, to understand what that means, when you read about Aelia Capitolina, you will see what they've been doing in that area. Worshiping on the gods, just being heathens. And the reason why Sodom is mentioned, because you know what the city of Solomon was into. Mankind should not lie with mankind. And when you study about the Romans and Greeks history, you will see that they partaked in that. And we can still see evidence of that today. Now do you see how everything's connected? But I got one more piece to connect to this. So it's giving you a place. It's giving you a historical event that took place. So you would know what the place is. So you would know where the two witnesses would be. They're going to be there. So this place is like what? The center or the main area where that one that would come. Because remember, the Jewish said they are trying to what? To unify all Jews and the world. To be under what? One God and under one name. Now we're going to go to Daniel. Okay? Daniel. I want you to go to Daniel 11. Again, you have to get to 16:11. Like I told my family, to understand these biblical prophecies, you're going to need that 16:11 because other translation of the King James Bible have left a lot of things out. Okay? That will help you. But the one that will help you or the one that will unlock your understanding is the Comforter. The Holy One that will teach you all things. This don't come by schools or books. All things come by spirit. Something that many don't understand. They think they can attain it on their own, by their own hand. Well, good luck. Because Father has revealed that unto me. He said, you will only understand this when I allow you to understand this. When I give you my spirit to understand this. Okay? So while many run into many sources or institutions or to their leaders for this understanding, they doing it wrong. Because the Father told you, if you want understanding of my living word and the prophecies, if you want your question to be answered, you have to come to Him because all things are given by His Spirit. All right, Daniel 11. We read the chapter summary, but we're not going to read this whole chapter. But it's a very good chapter because it gives you the past, the present, and the future. Like I said, the Bible is not written in a way where you think you can master it on your own or by your flesh. You can only master this by spirit. All right. And the spirit I'm talking about is dealing with the spirit of Yah, the comforter, the Holy One that should teach you. John chapter 14, 15, 16. 1 John chapter 2, verse 27. So while many are running to the institutions, to their books, to their scholars, to their leaders for understanding, they're not going to get it. All right. Daniel 11, the overthrow of Persia by the king of Grecia, leagues and conflicts between the king of the south and of the north, the invasion and tyranny of the Romans. You got to hear that? The invasion and tyranny of the Romans. Again, Genesis have a prophecy about the Romans. Do y'all see how you cannot get away from that foundation, but many do? And this is why they don't understand the New Testament. And it's sad, but it is. All right, Daniel chapter 11. Daniel chapter 11 will reveal unto you why you're seeing the Jewish, the YAHUAH, doing this. And then it's going to give you understand what we read in Revelation 11, why that place is called Sodom and Egypt. Again, you understand what Egypt was. Egypt was the main place where every foul, wicked spirit, every principality was there. Oh, yes, Satan and his angels and his spirits were there. And we know they don't follow the ways of the Most High. For when you understand the history of the sons of Noah, all of them was taught the ways of the Most High, but they rejected it. So the Father had to make a nation unto himself that would worship and serve him, but would be a light unto the Gentiles. But they too was flesh. But as it was written in the beginning unto our father Adam, the Holy One would come, that holy blessed seed that would bless all nations. Okay, let us keep going. All right, I'm trying to see where do I want to read at. Let's keep going. Let me see. Let me go up higher. I want to start at 37. Let me see. That's the way I want to start. No, I want to start at 40. 40. Because the king of the north, that's the one you want to watch. That's the one you want to watch. Who is this king of the north? Okay, let's start at 40. At the time of the end, do y'all hear that? It's giving you a clue. At the time of the end, shall the king of the south push at him. Now, the one they pushing at is talking about the one that's in the scriptures above. All right? Shall push at him. I'm going to be honest. This is dealing with Babylon. So they're going to push at Babylon. And the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind with chariots and with horsemen and with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over. So the king of the north is going to rise up. Remember what the Father said unto Daniel about the kings. He shall what? Raise many kings up, and he shall lower many kings. So we know soon Babylon, which is America, the whore that sits upon the beast, is going to be going down. She had too much blood of her hands. She has called the whole world to be drunken with her doctrines. She has killed the Most High people. This land that we are in, America, is a curse. You know about what the words say about bodies being hung on trees. This land is a curse. She has killed his people. Yeah. So Babylon's going down. Just like it was prophesying to Nineveh to go down. Well, the same thing going to happen here. All right. So the king of the north is going to rise up, y'all. He's going to be in power. Okay. And he shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand. Edom shall escape, Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon shall escape from the king of the north. Okay? But this is the verse you want to highlight. What is the glorious land that he shall enter into? Let us keep reading because You should already know where I'm leading to. All right. So verse 42. The king of the north shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. So he's going to conquer Egypt too, as well as many other countries. But he shall have power over the treasure of gold and of silver and over all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps. So he's gonna control what they call that continent of Africa. Okay, that's what they call it today. But when you go back in history, you will learn of the other names of what that landmass was called. Okay, so he's going to control Egypt and also Libya, and the Ethiopians going to be also under his control. So in this verse, it's revealing that he's going to control what? The economy, the money. Okay? This is the king of the north. I like that. Let's keep going. But the tiding out of the east, now this is very important. What is the east? Think of Israel, because we always talk about what? Facing the east, facing our homeland. But good news shall come out of the east, and out of the north shall trouble him. So he's going to get this good news, and it's going to trouble him because remember, he is the last one to rule for a short season. He is the last one to raise up for a short season. So this good news is going to trouble him because it's going to cause a stir within his empire. Okay? Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utter to make away many. So he's going to go out and try to conquer them. Now, to understand who is those in the east and of the good news, you got to read a book of Revelation, such as Revelation 20 and Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39. Do you see it? You still got to go back to the old, y'all, to understand what Daniel is talking about here. Each prophet is given a part. So you have to take all these parts and put it together. All right? So he's going to go out to the east and try to conquer them, right? Because he don't want anything to tear down his empire. All right? Because these are the ones living what? Independently. They don't need his wealth. They don't need to be a part of the beast system. They're not in the system. Okay? I'm going to use a layman term. They are nomads. They are pilgrims. They are living off the grid, if you hit what I mean. These are the Israelites who are dwelling without walls, who are protected by the cloud by day and the fire by night. Let's keep going. And he shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas. This is another verse you want to highlight. Because if you understand what tabernacles mean, it means what? House, temple, dwelling place. So the king of the north shall plant the tabernacle of his palace between the seas and the glorious holy mountain. Again, when you understand the borders, okay? The borders of Israel, of the land of Egypt, of the land of Israel, then you understand that he is going to plant his house, his temple, his tabernacle, you can say palace, in the land of Israel. And now you're beginning to see and connect the dot why we got to pay attention of them trying to build this third temple. Now you begin to understand why they are saying that we need to unify all Jews in the world under one God and one name. Do you see how all this is connecting together for those who are watching? Okay, let's keep going. So he shall plant the tabernacles with an S of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain, yet he shall come to his end and none shall help him. All right, that's Daniel 11. Here are the side notes for Daniel chapter 11 and the precepts if they are listed. Okay, but these are your side notes. So get back to this. Now you're going to see why it's so important for you to be watching to understand what is taking place. And when it comes to the biblical prophecies, there are still prophecies in Genesis that has not come to their fullness. And unfortunately, those have been under the fourth beast church doctrine. Y'all not aware of these prophecies. Many can be caught off guard. Many gonna be caught off guard and not see. Because the only thing you have been taught, I have received salvation and I'm good. I don't need to do nothing else. I'm under grace and mercy. But they have not taught you about the biblical prophecy and what to expect. They have not taught you about the millennial reign and what you're going to do in the millennial reign. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's like they only taught you one thing, and that's what they're all of y'all running with. So many are going to be deceived about this false one that is coming. Many are going to be deceived that what these Jewish are doing now, they're going to be deceived and think this is biblical prophecy. Oh, it is, but it's not what you think. That one's to come, who's the king of the north, is going to build his house, his temple, his palace there. And he's going to unify all the world to make what? One government under his rule. But he is not going to lead the people into the ways of the Most High. That is the difference between him and Yahusha HaMashiach. So, because the Yahusha HaMashiach is going to come with a rod of iron and enforce his Father's kingdom upon the earth. He is to prepare the way for the Father to come because he has to do his piece first. And when he's fulfilled that 1,000-year reign upon the earth, then the Father will come and bring the new Jerusalem that is not made by man's hands, and he would dwell amongst us. But it's still more to that. It's a mystery on that one too. So read Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48, along with the book of Revelation, as well as many other prophets that has written these sacred things unto you. I hope you enjoy this word for today, because y'all, we getting close. Now you see why it's so important for us to know our Father's calendar, to know our Father's year, like the Adamic year, we're in the 8th day. In the creation year, we're in the 13th day. And we don't have long, because the prophets give you the date. It gives you the date of when all these things will come to their fullness. The only thing we do not have, we don't know when the day and the hour when the Son of Man will be coming, which is Yahusha HaMashiach, the son of Adam. That's the only thing that we don't have. But he do give you the date of when these things shall be fulfilled to their fullness. He do. Continue, my brothers and sisters, to preach that the kingdom of heaven is at hand, for it's true at hand. Make sure the people receive salvation as written in Romans chapter 10, and baptize the people in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, for the Lamb set the example of the Holy Spirit baptism, and the apostle continued in both. Love you all, and remember, if you have no one to baptize you, you're still covered. You can baptize yourself. For the heavens, the earth, and the water is a witness unto our Father, and they can testify on your behalf. And let the Father know who had entered into the renewed marriage in the new covenant. And the Father has made it the same with the Holy Spirit baptism. He had made it easy because you don't have to go to no assembly, no pastor, no one, no building. All you have to do is go before him. And he will give you the Holy Spirit baptism according to your heart, your works, and your faith. Shalom.